Hello, everybody. Welcome to Astrology, the astrology of I Am. My name is Lorenzo Sanford. For those of you who are new to us, we are the site that brings you information and inspiration from the realm of astrology. And today's episode of Snapshot of the Sky is really important because it's Mercury Retrograde. We all hear about Mercury retrograde, and it's become such a buzzword that sometimes we don't know the meaning of it, and we don't understand the significance of it, and get caught up in the hype of it without knowing specifically how to maneuver through it. So this episode is going to help us understand how to deal with Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde begins on this week on Friday, I believe. I think that's correct. Yes. This week on Friday, Mercury retrograde begins. It officially begins. However, there is a period called the shadow of Mercury retrograde, which extends for the 2-week period before it actually begins to go retrograde. And let me clarify up front that Mercury doesn't actually move backwards, but from our vantage point on Earth, it appears to slow down and it appears to go retrograde. And in that motion, there's significance for us, as there is in all planetary motions. Mercury is the planet of communication, of course. Mercury is the planet of travel and the expression of ideas, and the sense that there's connectivity amongst people, because we need information and we need to be able to move about to have our understanding and our connection with our world. So whenever Mercury retrograde happens, which, by the way, is 3 times each year, each 12-month cycle, there's approximately 3 retrogrades. And I like to think of retrogrades as a period when the universe is saying to us, it's okay to chill. It's okay to unwind. It's okay to let go of some of the ways that we are aggressively moving forward in our lives. It really is a time when you are given permission to relax. But we want to move beyond the hype and into the actual understanding of what Mercury retrograde is and how you can benefit from it and how you can use it to make your life more purposeful, as always. So look, don't believe the hype about Mercury retrograde. You do not have to fear it. There's nothing to fear about Mercury retrograde. You can actually use this time. And the biggest way that you can use Mercury retrograde is to take some time to relax. The universe is saying to you 3 times each year for 3 weeks that it's time to chill. Don't push forward for 3 weeks. Stop, unwind, and regather yourself. In fact, every time there's a Mercury retrograde, I like to tell people that the best way to use it is to put the prefix re in front of any word and let that be what you focus on. So relax, rewind, recant, research, reveal. Anything that has a re in it is very valuable for the Mercury retrograde time. It's a time when the universe is saying, hey, you don't have to push forward. In fact, if you do push forward, there's going to be challenges because we want you to now take some time to yourself and not be so concerned with what's going on in the world. It's a great time for a vacation. It's a great time to read a book. It's a great time to do research that allows you to move forward later. But don't do things that involve new beginnings. Don't initiate anything important during Mercury retrograde, because undoubtedly something is going to come up that's going to cause you to have to redo it, right? Because there's likely to be a communication challenge, something you didn't understand. There's likely to be a breakdown in your actual communications with people during this time. This period is, as I said, 3 weeks. It happens 3 times a year. This year, it's beginning Friday, January 29th for 3 weeks. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is an air sign. So it emphasizes that we have to be careful about communication. We have to be careful to understand that people are not always expressing exactly what is on their mind, and they may express it in a way that causes some hurt, even though it wasn't their intention. So we should all give ourselves a little grace and give our partners a little grace, and understand that if there's a misunderstanding, don't let it get out of hand. Don't let it build up to a boiling point. Take a deep breath. Release. Relax. And allow some time before you respond. I like to also suggest that people keep a journal, especially during Mercury retrograde, because since there's so much going on, so much information, it might be helpful to actually keep a record of your thoughts, your impressions, your feelings, the things that are going on in your head space. You may have some great ideas during Mercury retrograde. You don't want to initiate them, but you do want to have them. So record them in a journal so that, who knows, after you have reflected, another word, reflect, then you can be better informed so that you can move forward and feel confident when Mercury retrograde ends. So the 3-week period has another additional time period on the beginning end, on the back end. The beginning is called the shadow of Mercury retrograde, and that happens for 2 weeks prior to the actual date that it begins. So the 2 weeks prior to January 29th are the times when you can start to see things breaking down. Computers might stop working. I have found that there are frequently weather events that cause big disruptions during Mercury retrograde. There was a time when I was tracking Mercury retrograde quite regularly, and I would see there would always be some national weather event that caused a big disruption, and it was known, it was reported widely in the news. And it could be something related to a hurricane, it could be something related to travel, winter storms that cause pileups on the highways. It's amazing when you look and see the correspondence in nature to the things that are spoken of or indicated in the sky. And again, it's nature telling us to slow down, chill out. You don't have to push forward all the time. If we have 52 weeks in a year and Mercury retrograde happens 3 times for 3 weeks, 9 weeks total combined is not a lot of time for you to just take some time to reflect. And so it's really what the universe has given you an opportunity to enjoy and to experience if you look at it that way, if you allow yourself the time, if you can give yourself and your partners grace and not get caught up in pushing forward. Another little nice, interesting fact about Mercury retrograde is people from your past may come back into your life during the time of Mercury retrograde. Generally speaking, they're coming back, but they're not going to stay. So if that former lover suddenly calls and says, "Hey, I've been thinking about you," just say, "Thank you. That was nice." Don't necessarily believe that they're going to return permanently, because chances are they're not. But Mercury retrograde causes people to look back, and so they will naturally think about the people who have made an impact on their lives. So if you are the one calling, or if you're the one being called, take it with a grain of salt, because it probably is not going to be lasting. However, there are no absolutes. So if you have always wanted and needed and maybe perhaps prayed for someone to return, and they return during retrograde, just take some time to allow it to unfold and not force it to unfold. Just see what they have to say and take it for a grain of salt during the time of retrograde. And as retrograde eases, see what happens. So again, keep a journal. Don't allow communications to be so intense that you get caught up in them. And when there are misunderstandings, relax and give yourself and your partner some grace. Don't make any major purchases. Don't buy a car. Don't buy a computer. If things break down, yes, repair them. Repair. Anything with a is great to do during Mercury retrograde. And you can always contact us at Astrologic Astrology for more detailed information about where Mercury retrograde is falling in your chart. But if we don't hear from you with regard to your own concerns, personally, just know that we're all dealing with this. We all have to process Mercury retrograde, and we all have the opportunity to take some time to regroup and come back stronger. Thank you for sharing with us. We wish you love and peace as always, and we look forward to sharing with you on our next snapshot in the sky. Namaste.